Hello, and welcome to this instalment of the school's Questions and Answers Challenge, filmed in Wirral Grammar School for Boys. Our question today is the Coalition's economic policy helping move the UK economy back to growth? And we'll start with Sean Kavanagh.
Thank you. I think it's quite clear that for all of us to see that the government's policy is not helping. We're moving back towards a recession. We have 500,000 public sector workers out of work, and we've got youth unemployment that's higher than ever before. We need to stimulate growth in the economy, which will create more jobs, which will create more demand in the economy, and then the private sector can grow also.
Okay. Matthew, have you got an answer to that?
I think obviously there is no alternative, as the great Margaret Thatcher said herself. Debt's the main problem. It's what's bringing Greece and a lot of southern Europe to the brink of chaos. I think the idea that we can simply spend an infinite amount of money and have no effect, and talk about stimulating growth by printing money and the rest of it, is simply fatuous. If you look at the case of the United States, the biggest economy in the world, that came to the brink with its own, close to default.
So do you think cuttings are our only option?
Clearly.
Tom, what about your opinion?
I believe that's classic conservative slash and burn tactics, where they're just trying to cut as much debt as possible and not caring really about the public sector and the growth of the economy.
Okay. Gareth, have you got any else?
Yes, I'd have to say, on Sean's point, I think he's underwriting the effect that the Eurozone crisis and the worsening of the global economic situation is having upon the UK. We can't expect to be apart from this, from the failure of the American jobs market and the increasing threat of Eurozone debt. And I think that the austerity is the unavoidable future for Britain. However, they could be slightly altered in the face of such crisis, but they have to carry on basically.
How would you alter them?
Or I would alter them by cutting national insurance, refocusing efforts on closing boundaries and closing loopholes in the tax system, and
okay, that's fine. Aaron, you're going to say?
The fact that it was the last government who left it an almost unsurmountable problem for this government is a major issue. However, I don't think the way the government is dealing with it isn't correct. The fact that claiming that Margaret Thatcher was great, the same ideology, the fact that the private sector, it was their fault for what's going on, but yet we punish the public sector workers by cutting their pensions. It just doesn't make sense.
Sean, do you agree with that?
I'd like to come back onto what Matthew said, that there's no alternative. Personally, I feel there are many different alternatives that we could solve this problem quite simply. You've got to look that the way to avoid a deficit is either increase the revenue coming in or decrease the amount of spending, which is what the current government is looking to do. We could easily increase the amount of taxation taken in by the fact we lose 120 billion every single year through tax avoidance. That is tax that we are due and we are being robbed of as citizens by big business and private individuals.
Okay, and they're outsourcing to different countries?
They've set their tax finances in offshore accounts so they do not have to pay into this current system, yet they enjoy all the benefits of British citizenship.
Gareth, would you agree with Sean?
I'd agree that loopholes in the tax system need to be closed. However, I don't agree that taxation is the alternative to austerity. In the case, one that has been floated around by many European socialists is the idea of a Tobin tax or a Robin Hood tax, which would be in effect relieving combating the debt. For rather than, while it would raise more money, it would do this particularly in Britain at the expense of jobs, as many of the large financial structures would not try to take it on themselves but pass it down to those who cannot face this kind of level of.
Okay, Tom?
I believe that yes, we should be cutting, but we can't. If we're going to cut, then we need to spend also, and so I believe that we should spend in the future and try and invest in new sorts of technologies to then stimulate growth.
Okay, so we should just be redirecting our investments?
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron, you got any further remarks?
The fact that the government's idea of cutting the poorest it's not going to work. Could have another minor situation on your hands.
Alright, okay. And I think that's all we've got time for, so thank you very much for listening and we hope to see you soon.